This is the Henkei Transformers Ghost Starscream. It's the deluxe class classics mold, or the Transformers Universe Seeker mold, done in this translucent Ghost Starscream format. If you remember, he came back in season 3 as a ghost because Galvatron had obviously killed him in the movie. And you know what? The figure is very disappointing. It is a KO, and you don't expect much from a KO, but because of the recent KOs I've picked up, I had a little bit of expectation going on for this figure. But as I was opening him up, I realized that this one was way back in 2009 or 2008. The original was released in 2008, and I think the KO was released in late 2009, and I had purchased it around that time or early 2010, and KOs weren't that great. But I was opening up the figure, and from the get-go, it looked great. The packaging, well, you feel it feels like it's a little bit photocopied, but it's a good print. They nailed the box. Even the twist ties, it's as annoying as the Hasbro twist ties, maybe even more. They nailed the instruction booklet very nicely. The paper they use is this thick, glossy material, so they got it right. They even got this one right. The card, well, the card looks cheap, but it's close enough. So everything was right. It was great until I started opening up the figure. The first thing I opened up were the missiles. The missiles were absolutely phenomenal. I thought they were a great copy. They're made of hard, durable, clear plastic. And then let me just take off one. Then I opened up the missile launchers and I tried it, and it shoots a fair distance, the missile at a fair distance, and a very strong spring after all these years, 6-7 years in the packaging. It's still great. It's got some chrome painting on the null rays. Great blaster, the clear blue plastic. And then I opened up the figure, and the moment you open him up in jet mode, he feels floppy, and as you transform him, parts keep falling down, and he can't even here is the Transformers Universe Starscream, Deluxe Starscream, and the weapons on this one are loose enough as it is. When they migrated it to a KO, it's very, very loose, as you can see. Oh, this one just keeps, right? Oh, and it just went downhill from there. The parts were very loose. They were tight in some places, but very loose in some parts. One thing going for this particular figure is that the clear white plastic, I think they got that one right. I am very pleased with it, particularly the wings and the nose cone, the canopy. They did it great, I think. The legs and the torso pieces, they look a little bit cheap, as well as the arms, but they're okay. They will pass if you're just going to display this figure as is. But I do love the quality of plastic they use for the wings, the fins over here. Very, very nice. But again, the figure is so loose, and as you transform him, you notice that the thigh pieces and these pieces, the critical joint pieces, they're very cheap. They're made of this cheap, softer PVC material, so that when you try and transform it from jet mode into robot mode, this happens. And there's no way to do it. You just have to carefully slide it. I've been trying to do it, and it just won't stay because the plastic is too soft and the sliding mechanism is a little bit too tight. But yeah, also the transformation of the torso is not complete. I cannot fold it as flush as I want it to, and the reason for that is they used a screw that wasn't flat enough. They should have used a rivet right there, but they used a screw that had the head sticking out by a couple of millimeters, and that couple of millimeters makes all the difference in the world, because you cannot fold this fuselage flush. As you can see, it's a little bit lifted, and because of that, you cannot fold the chest properly. So this thing is just a load of crap. I mean, it looks pretty, if you display it as like a, yeah, just like a figure on the shelf, it looks pretty, but once you start playing with it, it's just crap. Ha ha ha, because you bought a KO, that's why. So let's try and transform him. See, you can salvage what's left of this guy. So the nose cone folds up nicely, and again, the cheap gray plastic is there. This notch will not stay locked here. It's very difficult. Again, I think it's because of the way the soft plastic has been crafted. It's not gonna stay there. It just keeps flopping. It should lock into place for the original, but it just doesn't. Anyway, so let's see. So this one folds okay in jet mode. See the torso and it's fine, but it's really this piece that's the problem. Oh wait, I'll get to the wings later. Let me just transform this. See, these won't stay either. They're just so floppy. Now the pieces here, I got the same joint that this one. They just transferred it here, and as such, it was like a right angled corner right here, and it was very difficult to flip the wing. I had to shave that off. As you can see, it's a bad, you know, I sliced it off very crudely. So just to be able to fold it around that way, it's tighter than this one because it was supposed to be a right angle. So yeah, another quality issue. You fold it here, and it just won't stay. And then fold up the, oh, these things were supposed to be folded up like that in alt mode, but in robot mode I didn't. Sorry. And these are tight. I was afraid I was gonna break them. Oh, very nice green thrusters. I love that. And there you go. Here are the wheels. And there is Starscream in his jet mode. It looks great, as I pointed out. And if he's just like a statue, or if you just leave it on the shelf, it looks absolutely great. And I think they pulled off the look. But when you start playing with it, things just flop over all over the place. And I guess that's what you should expect from a KO. There's not much to expect. It's cheap, although I did pay a hefty penny for this one. These things are going for $40, the original ones, $40, $30, but the KO went for about $13 or $15, which I thought was expensive back in the day for a KO, but what can you do? So let's see if we can put this one here. I think for this particular one, for this particular piece, he looks best in alt mode if you just leave him in alt mode on your shelf, but on my shelf the Seekers are all in robot mode, so that's going to be very difficult for me. And yeah, so very, very disappointing. I'm sorry, I cannot recommend this KO. Just get the original if you can. And in the camera you can see how gorgeous it looks. When you pick it up and you start playing with it, it just falls apart. So it's gonna get a 5 out of 10 for me. I think the only reason I'm not giving it a 2 or a 1 is because I love the clear plastic that they use. But other than that, there's nothing going on for this particular piece. So there you go, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this little video review. This has been the KO version of the Transformers Henkei Ghost Starscream by Takara Tomy. So KOs back in the day sucked. I don't know if there's a better version of this one out there, but I cannot recommend it. Thanks for watching.